virtue, a quality considered morally good or desirable in a person. Arrogance. A lot of people consider it to be not the best thing, something that generally we frowned upon, something that isn't good to have. But I have always challenged the idea of that. I've never thought of arrogance as something that is bad inherently. In fact, I've not really thought of a lot of things as bad inherently, especially in smaller amounts or even concentrated amounts in certain directions. How is having confidence in oneself a bad thing? Arrogance, as a definition, is, of course, having a, exaggerated ideal of one's own capabilities. But in a lot of situations, is that necessarily the wrong thing to have? Is believing in yourself to be able to do something that you might not necessarily be able to do a bad thing? Because that can lead to something, I don't know, extraordinary, such as a placebo effect. Someone believing they can do something so hard and working towards it, and believing they can make it with all their heart and working so hard at it that eventually they actually do make it. I mean, wouldn't you call anyone who considers to be a professional sports player arrogant? So consider them foolhardy, fool's road, something not to be sought after? Well, everyone who's a professional sports player had to at one point go out to try to be a professional sports player. And at some point, somewhere along the line, someone would call them arrogant for doing such a thing. Someone would say, you're arrogant if you think you can make it. You're arrogant if you can do this. And is that necessarily a bad thing? Is it wrong to be arrogant? Is arrogance inherently bad? And if it is, why is it that way? What about arrogance is wrong? How is thinking highly of yourself to a point of possibly thinking a little too highly of yourself a bad thing? If I think I can handle something that I can't handle, well, that can be bad in certain situations. Someone puts me in a position that I cannot actually handle, but in those situations, I should be able to get my way out of it. It shouldn't be up to me to go in and fail and then make things worse. It should be up to me to go in and even if I can't do it, still figure out a way to accomplish it, even if it means relying on others. In a world full of people that seem to have less and less self-confidence, in a first world country, and when you have everything you really need, when you can easily accomplish any modern commodities and any food or water, have hot water, have clean food that won't give you disease, in this sort of environment where people are feeling more and more oppressed and more down on things and more like nothing they do really matters, is it really wrong to be arrogant? Is it wrong to think that yes, I can do this, or yes, I do have the capability? Especially if not thinking that can sometimes lead to thinking down a worser path. There is pretty much nothing that someone cannot do. I mean, even in situations that are just absolutely abysmal, there are things people can do. I mean, if you looked at me straight in the eyes and asked me, do you think someone without any legs could win a sprinting competition? And I would tell you wholeheartedly, with all the arrogant flair in the world, yes they can, because I know science, and science can build robot legs. But not just that, I would also say it because of the fact they still have arms. Sure, you might say, well, you would have to beat legs with arms, and isn't that basically impossible? Sure, but if someone said, hey, race me, you use your arms to go there, and I'll use my legs, would I decline their challenge? Of course not. Would I think for even a second that I might not be able to win? Well, maybe. Would I say, yes, I got this, bring it on, bro, I will beat you 10 times out of 10? Yes, I will, because I am foolhardy and arrogant to the maximum. Some of my favorite songs are things like Written in the Stars, Eye of the Tiger, I Want It All, even things like the Pokemon theme song, I'm gonna be the very best. There's so many things that fully show off how arrogant I am as a person, and at times, I feel like it's never been a bad thing. I've never come into a situation where, oh no, my arrogance really got me in trouble there. I've never felt that. I felt at times where someone has asked me something, and they said, well, you're arrogant, why am I even talking to you, when I really wasn't being arrogant. I guess if I was being arrogant in those situations, I could have gotten into trouble, but really, I really never say something that I don't believe is true. I never really say something that I don't think is factual. If someone asks me, can you do this? I'll say, yes, I can do that. I might not do that, but I sure could do it. But no one asks, will you do this? No one asks, how will you do this? They ask, can you do it? And that's a very different question, and I think that kind of stems on the view of arrogance a little bit. When someone asks, can you do this? And really they mean, will you do this? Or would you be able to do this without putting too much into it? And would you be able to do this in a timely manner? There's a lot of things that I think compound the word arrogance to mean something that it really isn't. I don't think of arrogance as a bad trait. In fact, I find arrogance to to be incredibly, like, an attractive quality in another human individual. That sounded wrong. That came out wrong, but that's okay. I find that to be a great quality. I find to gravitate more towards arrogant people. Well, not necessarily confident people who have arrogance is like, oh yeah, I can totally beat you in a one-leg race when you're using both legs. Those type of people, not the type of people that like, oh yeah, I could literally not put in any effort and totally accomplish everything I'm trying to accomplish. Yeah, 100%. No effort at all. I wasn't even trying when I beat you, even though, when I was losing, I was, yelling and cursing and, like, getting really upset, but, I wasn't even trying. Those type of people are pushing it too far. That's kind of going beyond arrogance. That's going into foolhardiness, blindness. You're just not going with the facts. It's not slight embellishment. It's not saying, yes, I can do this. Now watch me do it like a boss. You're saying, yeah, I can do this. Now watch me do it like a pathetic weakling who's not even trying. And I think that's really the difference between arrogance and just being blind to the truth.